Phonological organization of tones. In the case of surging transition and in many others, the conflicting mm, considerations in the phonological treatment of phonetic turning points mostly involve phonological organization. One of the central claims of Peter Humbert's work is that the tones can be organized into larger structures, pitch accents, tunes, and so on. At one level of description, the F0 contour is realization of a string of tones, but at another level it is necessary to recognize that the string has internal structure. Internal structure. If we decide that a given phonetic turning point represents a tone, then the very first thing we need to do is to decide how it fits into a larger phonological structure. For example, in order to Pierre Humbert to recognize the low turning point between H-star accents as the reflex of a tone, she would have had to find a place for it in pitch accent type. But the number of possible pitch had to find a place for it in a pitch accent type. But the number of possible pitch accent types was extremely limited by her independent theoretical assumption that pitch accents never consist of more than two tones. It is because of this assumption that Pierre Humbert's analysis of downstep interfered with recognizing the low turning point as a tone, and favored the sagging transition analysis instead. If we distinguish carefully between the identification of tones and the analysis of their phonological organization, we can see more clearly which aspect of an AM analysis rests on fundamental assumptions and which are essentially hypotheses cast within a framework of such assumptions. Consider again the English rising-falling rising contour that was applied to shoe and a driving structure in example 1 and 2 in chapter 2. It is required by the basic assumptions of the AM approach that there are at least four tones in this contour. Initial L and H peak and vary L and a final H. We might want to argue for the presence of two L's in the valley, one immediately following the H peak and one immediately preceding the final H. We might also have more to say about the stretch of contour preceding the H peak, but four tones are minimum. Given those four tones, however, it is a specific descriptive hypothesis that they are organized into an L plus H star pitch accent, an L phrase accent, and an H% boundary tone. Other analyses are possible. For example, a classical British school analysis of this contour as applied to a driving instructor might be as a four-rise, nuclear tone, and a low prehead. In effect, the H peak vary, L and final H are grouped together into one unit, while the initial L is a reflection of a separate unit. There is actually a considerable lack of clarity within the British school about how nuclear tone contours spread to cover more than one syllable. But there is no disagreement that the four-wise constituent a single unit in the system, distinct from the prehead. We might therefore translate this British analysis into AM terms as involving an L prehead and an H*LH nuclear accent, which is essentially equivalent to the AM phonological proposals of Gustavin. Both analyses involve the same LH-LH sequence of tone, but they structure the sequence in quite different ways.